Good morning. Today's show is the right to record. Something really interesting happened, and my YouTubers, unfortunately, you didn't see it because I was live streaming on Facebook on Friday when the city of Lancaster forced me to allow a company I had never heard of to come into my home for a mandatory water meter upgrade. But it was free. Why should I complain? Problem is, many people, it wasn't free for them because what happens is most of our homes in the city of Lancaster are older homes. And even the city of Lancaster admitted on their website that the reason for this upgrade was because the older water meters, they were functioning perfectly. Nothing wrong with them. But they thought they were reading a little low. So when they say upgrade, they mean higher water bills for the city residents, right? That's what it means. That's what an upgrade always means, right? Here's what made me angry from the get-go. So, and many people, my Facebook viewers don't know this either. This all started back in November. I get a letter from the city of Lancaster and this Grid 1 Solutions that I've never heard of. And it's not a nice letter. It's a threatening letter. It says, this is your third notice. If you don't reply in 10 days, the city of Lancaster is going to shut off your water. And I'm like, excuse me? I was like hysterical. I called my husband at work. Did you pay the water bill? What are they talking about? So, again, this letter did not come certified mail. It just came into my mail slot. And I was shocked. Now, as most of you know, I live in Maryland. I had just gotten home from Maryland. I live in Maryland for 5 months out of the year. But my husband is here. And I said, you're busy, honey. Did you get 2 letters about this water meter upgrade thing? He said, I didn't get any letters. What are you talking about? He said, oh my God. Now, let's remember when this occurred. October and September of 2019. That's when they told me we got letters. September and October. I wasn't here. My husband says he said, oh shit. Now, what was November 2019? It was midterm elections, wasn't it? So every day my husband comes home from work and he has stuff on our doorknob, in our front door. Vote for me, I'm running for city council. Vote for me, I'm running for Senate. Well, included in that was this. This is their idea of a first and second notification. They put this thing on our doorknob. Let me just read it to you. It does say City of Lancaster. And then it says, reminder, it's time to schedule your free service upgrade. Call today to schedule your water service upgrade appointment. And then it has a 1-866 number. If you got this on your front door, what would you think it is? My husband thought it was someone trying to get in our house and upsell us on some kind of upgrade that we don't need because there was nothing wrong with our water, except it tastes like chlorine, but that's not anything that has to do with our pipes. That has to do with the city over-chlorinating their water. So this is what they consider a first and second notice. And the third notice was a letter, and they're threatening to turn off my water if I don't schedule this upgrade. I call this 800 number, and I get this Grid 1 Solutions. Like, who the hell are you? I've never heard of you. And you're supposed to come into my home and start messing with my water pipes? That's a little weird for me. But let's get to what the show's about, because I was angrier and angrier as the date approached, because I started researching these free water meter upgrades. Well, see, they're only free if everything goes according to plan. But if you do live in an older home, and they start messing with your pipes. One guy, they started hammering on his pipes and broke his pipes. And guess who's responsible to fix that? They broke it. you get to pay to fix it. You have to call a plumber. These guys came into my home last Friday and said, well, these are kind of older valves. We can turn the water off, but if we go to turn it on, they might break, and then you're not going to have water till you call a plumber, and then you, quote, are liable to get your water turned back on. That doesn't sound free to me. Does it sound free to you? It's like someone coming into your home and saying, well, this is all working really good, but we want to charge you more money for water, so we're going to replace it. And by the way, while we're replacing it, we're going to break shit, and you're going to be responsible for paying for it. You know, one time I had those carpet cleaner people come in my house, and they knocked over a lamp and broke it. You know what? They paid for that lamp. The lamp was kind of wobbly anyway, but they still paid for it because they were here, they knocked it over, they broke it. Not so with this water meter replacement company. They break it, you pay to fix it. How is that even legal? So here's where the recording comes in. After talking to people who had bad experiences, I announced on Facebook on Thursday that when these people came into my home on Friday uninvited, I was going to go live on Facebook. I was going to do a live feed while they were here, and I was willing to be completely fair. And I was fair. And as I predicted, we did have some issues. They were professional. They made sure that they did not break my water valves. They went to the front. They shut the water off there. They put the meter in. But here's my thing. When they walked in here, they went down in the basement to look at the old water meter, and they said to my husband, so we heard this could be live streamed. Is that true? Are we being recorded? My husband said, oh, my husband, he's not into this at all. He thinks I overreact and this is ridiculous, and yet everything I predict usually comes true because we did have an issue with this water meter. He said, well, that might be my wife. Bottom line is, why didn't they want to be recorded? Why would that concern them? If they're professional, they're going to do everything right. I didn't put them on camera. I never intended to put them on camera, unless they wanted to be famous, like me. But they were concerned. And I have to ask why, because I will tell you, with this new social media thing, everybody having a smartphone, everything is recorded. You call a business and they will say, this call will be recorded. I've recorded phone calls with doctors' offices to play back for my husband later, so he could hear what was said. You have the right to do that. You definitely have a right to turn on your camera on your computer when strangers that you've never heard of, you didn't hire for a job, are coming into your home. You have a right. Because we've all heard the Dateline stories, the horror stories. I never heard of this company. I have a right to protect myself and my home by being live with all of you in case there's a problem. I didn't embarrass these people. I didn't ask for their names. I didn't put them on camera. But when they didn't even bring a tarp with them to protect my floor when they were tracking dirt, and my husband got a tarp from our shed out back. He put the tarp down. They needed to go out front, and there was snow covering the outside curb water. My husband shoveled the snow away. That wasn't our job, because we didn't invite these people into our home. So yes, I do have a complaint about that. They should have been shoveling the snow. They should have brought protective gear to protect my floors. They knew they were going in a basement, but they didn't bring any of that. And then we waited and we waited. Some of their equipment wasn't working. They couldn't get the cap off the water thing out front. Wait. What should have taken half an hour took 2 hours. And yes, it was annoying, because when someone comes into my home uninvited, and the government told me I had to let them in. And they're messing with stuff that wasn't broken to begin with in order to charge me more money for something I can't even drink or give to my dog. I just use my water to take a shower and flush my toilet. Because the water here is so awful. It smells like chlorine and bleach. I called the vet because I got a letter from the city admitting it. The water is overchlorinated. If you're sickly or elderly or a baby, don't drink it. I called the vet. The vet said, don't let the dog drink it. Give the dog bottled water. Do you know how much water a dog drinks? The city replaced my water meter because they felt my water usage was too low. They weren't charging me enough for water. Well, we'll see what the next water bill is. Because, yeah, my water usage has dropped. First of all, it's dropped because, first of all, I'm a homemaker. I take a shower twice a week. And my dog doesn't drink the water. We don't drink the water. We buy bottled water, so we're not using water out of the tap. And for 5 months out of the year, I live in Maryland. That's where I take my showers. Where, by the way, the cold water is part of our pro rata. So I don't actually get a water bill in Maryland. I get an electric bill for the hot water. But it's not that bad. So they replaced the water meter to charge me more because they noticed my water usage was down. And by the way, I have something else to say about this. And then I'm going to get back to this right to record. You would think if the entire city had to replace their water meters, and I'm home all the time. I'm always here. Except in the summer. But this shit hit the fan in the fall. I haven't seen these Grid 1 trucks up and down my street. I started asking my neighbors if they had their water meters replaced. Some of them haven't. They didn't even get a letter. Why did I get a letter? So is this really mandatory for every home in Lancaster or just the houses that they noticed our water usage dropped off in the last year or two? Because all they had to do was ask me, and I'll just say, yeah, we don't drink the water anymore. In fact, we've even thought about not even cooking with this water anymore because of how bad it smells, like chlorine and bleach. That's not our pipe's fault. That's the city of Lancaster's fault, the way they over-treat the water. I have friends in other counties that use Lancaster city water. They say their water doesn't smell. So somebody is actually filtrating their water and cleaning out all that chlorine and bleach smell. But in the city, at the source, we don't drink our water. We don't give it to our dogs. So our water usage has dropped. But that's a problem. That's why we need a new water meter. They want to make sure they get every dime for every drop. So anyway, they were uncomfortable with the fact that I said I was going to live stream during their little uninvited visit into my home. Well, you know what? I have a right to do that. This is my house. I'm an American citizen. I have a First Amendment right to have this computer on, have this camera on, anytime I want. Especially when strangers are coming into my home. Especially. You have a right to record a doctor's appointment. In fact, people encourage you. Most good doctors will encourage you because sometimes you go to the doctor and they're going to give you bad news. And the minute they say bad news, you tune out. So they advise either record the doctor's visit or take someone with you to take notes because you're not listening anymore. Doctor says, hey, Mrs. Luciano, you've got stage 4 cancer. I don't hear anything after that. But he keeps talking. So by recording it, once I get home, have a few shots of Sambuca and like 4 or 5 cigarettes, I can sit down and listen to what he actually said after he said cancer. So see, that's That's why it's good to record a doctor's office. Police stops. If you are stopped by the police, you absolutely have the right to turn on your cell phone and start recording everything that occurs between you and the police. If they tell you you don't have that right, record them telling you you don't have that right. You can definitely do that. So you're telling me, sir, I can't record this encounter with you. No, ma'am. Okay, thank you. And right there, you've got a defense, because they obviously, anyone who refuses to be recorded isn't shy. They're worried that something's going to occur that will shed a bad light on them. That's the problem. But you do have a right to record a police stop, you have a right to record a doctor, and you have a right to record a phone call. I've actually recorded phone calls where I've sat right here. I didn't play it for you guys. It was for me to let my husband listen to when he got home from work. But I have it on recording, and then after he listened to it, I either deleted it or I saved it, depending if it was important for some form of appeal, which I'm filing right now. But it is important because people will lie. People will say, I didn't tell them that, or I didn't say it this way. We didn't say that. If you have a recording, you can say, really? Because see, I just have to push this button and I can prove you said it. You still want to say you didn't say it? You have a right to protect yourself. Look at all the things that we see on television every morning on the news. Amateur video, cell phone video, live feed, people walking down the street, something happens, I'm going live, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. You have the right, especially if you feel that you are in any kind of danger. Now, did this Grid 1 Solutions place threaten me in any way? No, they didn't. But once again, strangers forced into my house uninvited to do work on something that was causing us no issues whatsoever. The only people who didn't like my water meter was the city of Lancaster. So yes, I felt it was absolutely appropriate to come on here live on Facebook. My YouTubers, you can get on my Facebook page and see. I was fair. I said they were professional, they were polite, even though I was rude. That I had a right to be rude. They were invading my home without my consent. And again, this city of Lancaster, if you're watching this show, because obviously someone watched the show on Thursday and gave these guys a heads up that I was going to live feed their visit. This is not a letter. This is not a first or second notification. And you don't threaten to turn somebody's water off because in the middle of midterm elections, they took things off their doorknob, which this was on our doorknob, and just threw them in the trash. And then you send me a letter saying, we're going to turn your water off. Even though you've always paid your bills on time, you don't threaten to turn my water off. So that got us on a bad tone right there. Not to mention the letter that threatened to turn my water off did not come certified mail. We've had packages lost. We've had mail. Did you get my letter? No, I didn't get it. You want something like that? You're going to threaten to turn somebody's water off for no reason other than they didn't respond to this? You send it certified. You know that we actually got it before you push a button and turn my water off. So yeah, I was pissed. I'm still pissed. But I did do live feed. I didn't put these guys on camera. I didn't embarrass them. I didn't use their names. And I actually said some nice things about the way they comported themselves when they were in my home. Although I would advise them in the future when they're going into old houses and old basements to bring some kind of protective covering for the people's floors. Because remember, you weren't invited. And I don't like to clean anyway. So I really would not have appreciated having to scrub and vacuum my hardwood floors after you left, considering you weren't really welcome in the first place. Remember, you have a right to record, and anybody who tells you you don't, they have something to hide. There's a reason they don't want to be recorded. They don't want you to tell about your experience. And that right there, my friends, is a red flag. Have a good weekend, everybody. We're coming to the end of this season. We've got a few more weeks of some new shows, and then it'll be hiatus time. I was hoping my website would be up by now, but it's not. It's not surprising that it's not. But hopefully that will be up for the next season. I'm looking forward to launching a website. I think you're all going to love it. It's going to be a lot of different things, recipes, book reviews, all kinds of stuff. It's not just going to be me talking. It's going to be about things that interest you. And then you will also be able to ask me questions. It'll be a FAQ, frequently asked questions. And, we can get to know each other better through the website once I launch it. Once my husband finishes it. Don't tell him I said that. Oh my God, is this recorded? Have a good weekend. Be safe. Political Paula is out.